Getting ready. And in three, two, one. Welcome. I'm Mitch Goldberg. Welcome to my live stream. It's called Be the Boss of Your Money. This is a live stream. It's your post market show every Monday through Thursday at 4:30. It's about explaining what's happening in the financial world. It's about helping you take control of your personal finance. It's about so many things. And if you have any questions while we're in the show, or post, if you're watching this in the replay, hit me up in the comments with your questions. You know, I love hearing from you. We've got a great show today. First of all, just a quick update on what's going on. You know, I take off 2 days from the live stream and all hell breaks loose. Markets plunge. I come back today and the market recovers. So obviously, you guys just can't get along in the world without me. I mean, isn't that what that tells you, right? I'm just kidding. It's just crazy day in a volatility world. We'll talk about that. But more importantly, today's main theme is the metaverse. How do you invest in the metaverse? What is the metaverse? Is it worth buying the META ETF? That's right. There's an exchange traded fund that focuses exclusively on the metaverse. But is it really worth investing in? Or is it just another fund that invests in tech stocks with different packaging so it could charge you a higher expense ratio? We're going to take a look at these things. So the first thing we'll do is roll the quick intro, and then we're going to take a deep dive. So stick with me. I'm very excited to be here. Happy Tuesday. And we'll go through the update. Here we go. All right, good to have you back. I'm Mitch Goldberg. We're just getting started. So if you're tuning in now, thank you very much. You're watching Be the Boss of Your Money. It's your post-market live stream where we explain what's happening in the world of finance, what's exciting, what's new. We also talk about staying the course, financial planning, investing, credit, mortgages, you name it. If it you name it, we talk about it. If it's in the world of personal finance, it's about taking control of your money. That's why I call the show Be the Boss of Your Money. Let's talk about what's going on. First of all, sorry I was out yesterday. Sorry I missed you. Crazy day. Sunday night, we get a call. My mother-in-law was rushed to the hospital. She's 87. She fell and broke her hip. She was taken to the hospital. She had her surgery today. From what I understand, it went quite well. We cannot be there at the moment, COVID and all that, but in touch with the doctors and her constantly. My daughter had emergency wisdom tooth extraction. She woke up in agony on Friday, had her wisdom teeth extracted yesterday. So it was another thing. So it's just like, Monday was just, sorry, the live stream was not happening. In fact, it was like 3:00 on Monday. And I'm like, saying that loud to my wife, saying to my wife, I really want to do the live stream. And she just gave me a look like, I think you're needed at home right now. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have brought it up, but I got the hint. So yesterday we skipped the show. And, I'm sorry. I hate missing you and missing the update. Yesterday was a good day to do a show because the market was down so much and Friday was down. And I would have liked to have done the show on Friday because if something crazy is going on in the world, I like to be here to do the show and do a live stream and give you the goods on what's happening, but it just wasn't to be. So here we are today. And quite frankly, I don't think I'm going to be in tomorrow. I'll be in the afternoon. I'll be working tomorrow, but I don't think I'll be around for the live stream tomorrow. It's just, it's the holidays. We're coming up to Christmas. So and I'm like a nut job with being consistent with the live stream. But it's just with the time of year, it's really hard to be consistent for a couple of days. I might do a live stream maybe at 8 o'clock at night. Maybe I'll do one on Saturday. But I do want to get the live streams in and give you what you need, what you want, what you want to know about everything going on. So Omicron, we can't have a discussion about the stock market without getting into Omicron. So here's my take on Omicron. Got my KN95 mask. It's back. Actually, it never left. I was still wearing it in public places, just not in my office, obviously. But so my take on Omicron is it's not a matter of if you catch it; it's a matter of when. It's just a matter of how long could you delay catching it, and if you're vaccinated, it's a matter of you won't get that sick from it. Probably be fairly mild, and if you've gotten your booster, you'll probably be asymptomatic or have a very mild reaction to it, and that's what's going on. But from what I can tell, it doesn't look like being boosted actually prevents you from catching COVID. It's just a matter of being boosted uh, keeps the COVID at bay to more of a common cold, as opposed to something that could put you in a hospital, put you on a ventilator, and possibly kill you. Yeah, we've been doing this a long time. I started this live stream late 2019, just before the whole pandemic broke out. I remember very early on in the pandemic giving you the worst case scenario. And I actually got direct messages and emails and calls saying that I was way too gory, way too scary, and I was really depressing people and turning people off because I described what could really happen with it. I can't say I wasn't too far off. I mean, I said we could even have refrigerated trucks as mobile morgues parked in front of hospitals in New York City, which we did. I would have rather been wrong about that, obviously, but here. So here we are. But we were starting to get to the reopening. The Delta was surging, but it seemed like that was the devil we knew, as opposed to the devil we didn't know, which is Omicron. And Omicron was expected. If you don't know this, I'm just, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Omicron was expected to take over and become the dominant COVID vaccine sometime in January, but it happened in like, I don't know, a week or two. And now it's the dominant strain in the United States, in the world, actually. So it's a really serious thing. And then you hear, well, but it's not as bad if you catch it as uh, the Delta. And then the powers that be, the authorities on it say, we don't really know that yet. You can't compare us to just South Africa because South Africa has a younger population. They just don't have nearly as many people over the age of 65 the way the United States, Japan, and Western Europe have, and China. So it's really tough. It's not a fair apples to apples comparison. Okay, so we move on, and all of a sudden the worry is travel restrictions. Like we're going to this reopening, slow down because of a winter surge of Delta in the Northwest, the Northeast. But then we have Omicron, and you see shutdowns, cities shutting down, London and all, throughout Germany and Ireland and Italy. And, we see what happened in New York with the mask mandates, in California. And, it's happening in other places too, in Chicago. We'll see how it goes. But people are stopping dining out. They're stopping doing that. People are changing travel plans. A good friend of mine was in Aruba. He was vaxxed. He did a COVID test to come back to the United States, an antigen test, and the PCR test came back positive, and he had to actually stay in some COVID hotel in Aruba for 10 days. He's still there. And it's pretty depressing. It's like you're there. It's like, they keep you in a room or something? It's a very strange thing. But keep in mind, that's a foreign country. It's not like you're going to break out and just walk over state line into another state or something. Okay. So the whole point is the governments, countries, economies it's a big setback. They're shutting down. Travel is becoming restricted. People may keep their Christmas plans, but I mean, just in my office here, there are a few people who are out because they have COVID. A friend of mine just posted on Facebook that she has COVID. A friend of mine posted on LinkedIn that he has COVID, and it's just popping up everywhere. That's why I don't think it's a matter of if you get it. I think it's a matter of when. It's just very contagious. There's 50 mutations on it. from Delta. Okay, so enough of that. That's why the market's been tanking, because the reopening stocks, travel, leisure, energy, economically sensitive type stocks have gotten crushed, and the market is taking a hit. On top of that, the pandemic stocks that did well in 2020, they've gotten smashed also. Um, they didn't really rebound that much in the last 2 days when the markets were plunging and people were worried about COVID, by the way. But today, those stocks that got hit the last 2 days were the ones that rebounded today. Now, I don't think that today is anything special. I'm not like, ooh, holy shinola, the market was up over 500 points. We're back to our winning ways. Sky is blue, and we're gonna hit 60,000 on the Dow soon. Oh, we will hit 60,000 on the Dow one day. It's going to take a long time. I don't think we're back. Off to the races. We still have the Fed pulling back. Now, people say in a gory way that, rising COVID cases, Omicron could keep the Fed at bay for a little bit longer. No, I think what Omicron does is it just slows down the reopening. It delays the reopening, but it's not going to prevent the reopening. We're already in a reopening, which has obviously been curtailed by Omicron. But I almost said Omicron. It's Omicron. But we're gonna get past this, and from what experts are saying, we could get past it pretty quickly. The worry really is the surge in the hospitals and the strain on the healthcare system for a month or two. That's like the real danger, because that's when all hell breaks loose and a lot of people can't get care, and a lot of people. Okay, so that's the real concern for now. So it delays things. But then today, airlines took off, no pun intended. Boeing was up. Energy had a big pop today. So we are back to the reopening play. I posted on LinkedIn that, just everybody chill out. People are flinging stocks like it's a freaking video game. That's what I wrote. Flinging, freaking. I didn't do the ing. I just did the in apostrophe. Flinging, flipping. I'm from New York. That's how I talk. Okay. So, and you just need to chill out, because if you have a long time to go until you need your investment money to meet your financial obligations, a down market is your friend. And if you are close to needing your money for financial obligations, then you've already moved a good chunk of it to cash or other more stable kinds of investments, so that you're ready to take that money when you need it, as opposed to having to sell into a down market selling stocks. So if that's the case, then you're prepared for it. So really, if you invest properly, this is just par for the course. We've seen a lot of ups and downs, but the major averages are not down that much from their highs. And I just think it's all about nothing. It's a lot of up and downs, but not really getting us too far away from where we were a week ago. That's what this is. But there's a lot of drama. So save the drama for your mama. I just said that on the live stream. I can't take it back. Okay. So I'm good at embarrassing myself. Oh my God. By the way, Josh is out there. Hey buddy, it's so nice to see you. Thank you very much. And I don't know if we're going to get together again for coffee in 2021, but hopefully we'll do it soon. Maybe a phone call, a virtual coffee. I don't know. Speaking of virtual, we're going to talk about the metaverse in a moment. Let's just take a quick look at the day's action. Okay. I'll pop you up on my screen over here. Let me get rid of that. The social media icons. Okay. Could you see that? Dow is up 560 points, helps make up for the last couple of days. NASDAQ had a big day, up 2.4%, up 360 points. S&P up almost 2%, up 81 points. Gold was down. The flight to safety, the nervous flight into gold kind of ebbed a little bit. Oil went up. Yields went up. So definitely a risk-on trade. And you see the VIX, the VIX. I always talk about that. It's almost back to 20. It's 21. So it never really left the station. Like the Friday after Thanksgiving, when the Dow was down like 905 points, that was like a big day. The VIX spiked to 38, but it was it was over very quickly. All right, and just let me tell you where the Russell 2000 was up almost 3%. Okay, that's the small cap index. Just the Russell 2000. I said in my live stream a couple weeks ago that I think for 2022, you've got to look at small caps as a place that's been an underperformer that could be a catch-up trade. But a lot of strategists lately are coming out and saying you've got to get into small caps as a winning place to be for 2022. Kind of bothers me that, from a contrarian point of view, that everybody's jumping on that bandwagon. And we'll see how it goes. Let's take a look at the cryptos. Okay, that's not what I want to see here. Cryptos. Okay, boom. Today was a risk-on day, so crypto was up nicely. Bitcoin up. Just about everything in crypto land was up. Dogecoin was flat at 17 cents. I don't even know why I mentioned Doge. It's just a joke of a coin. It got popular because Elon Musk touted it. It went from like 15 cents or something to 70 cents. It's like a $15 stock going to 70, and then it went back down. That's why I always have a beef with people who are in a position of influence. They have to be careful with what they say, okay? People who are not sophisticated sometimes get stuck in this stuff. So we're almost ready to talk about the metaverse. Okay, so anyway, let's just sum that up with the market. So Omicron, as Omicron fears come and go, ebb and flow. So as Omicron fears come and go, ebb and flow, we're going to see the stock market follow that pattern. Up big, down big. It's volatility. All of these 1% plus moves over the last few weeks is pretty volatile stuff. We'll have to live with it for now. But the averages haven't really drifted far out of their recent trading range. And that's why I think it's much ado about nothing while the stock market looks for a breakout to the upside or to the downside. So we're going to do that. And like I said, today was nothing special. Metaverse. What is the metaverse? There's like a million definitions of it, but from friend to friend, how I would describe it, it is just it's a virtual world. So instead of you're seeing me now in two-dimensional on a flat screen, it would be you're wearing goggles, I'm wearing goggles, and we see each other in a 3D screen. Not just flat, but like you could really see like the sides of my head, like the depth. We would see the depth of each other. Wouldn't be perfect. It's not a replacement for real life. Like I wouldn't be able to smell cologne or perfume or smell the coffee and dessert in the back of a room at a networking event, or being able to put my hand out and shake hands with somebody at a charity event and say, hey, how are you involved with this event? What brings you here? I'm very good at doing that. And it's not because I'm some slickster networker. I'm just very comfortable meeting people for the first time. I'm very comfortable in social situations saying hello to people. It's just my nature. I know a lot of people aren't that comfortable, and I know it's hard for people to understand that if they're not comfortable like that. Like when my wife and I go to a wedding or a bar bat mitzvah or something like that, my wife is like, stay with me. Let's stay together. We'll go to the food area. We'll eat together. We'll go to the bar together. And to me, like, I'm like, I want to say hello to people, see some friends I haven't seen for a while. I'm not like shy at all. I'm not boisterous. I'm not like the loud guy at the party, but I have no problem meeting somebody new, pivoting to someone I know, introducing them, and now we're having a three-way conversation. It's just something I'm comfortable doing, which probably suits me for my profession as a financial advisor. Okay, so the metaverse is a 3D world. So think of it like you are at an event with a bunch of people, let's say 100 people, whatever, a bunch of people, and you're there not just as avatars, but the avatars like look exactly like you. And as you turn around, you're seeing the people standing on the floor in front of you, and you could walk up to someone and start talking to them, and you hear them back, and you're looking at each other, and before you know it, you become immersed in this virtual world of talking to somebody, even though you're standing or sitting at your office desk or your couch or wherever you're sitting, wherever you're wearing your goggles. And that's to me is what it is. Now imagine walking into a store. So instead of going onto Amazon and looking for something like a 2D picture of, let's say you want to buy a pair of earbuds, now you could actually put your goggles on, walk into a virtual store, and you look around the store, you see the ceiling, you see the walls. It'll feel like you're in a store, and it won't be like primitive cartoon-like walls and a ceiling. It'll look like the real thing. Kind of like when you watch like an NBA game on a video game, it looks like you're watching TV. It doesn't necessarily look like a game anymore. It looks like it could pass for real TV. And this way, you'll be in a store, you'll be able to shop. Maybe you'll see clothing that you like, and you could click a button, and all of a sudden, you'll be wearing the clothing, and you could try it on for size right there in the metaverse and leave the store and pay for the clothing, I guess, with your Amex or with an NFT. And then there'll be private gatherings and parties and rooms. Let's say, for example, that only people with a certain NFT, you have to own a certain NFT, like an exclusive ticket to get into a particular party or a particular. I think of like social media or Clubhouse or something, and people want to go to an event, but you have to have the invitation to go. And and you have to have the invitation to go, and that could be in the form of an NFT. And I want to show you something here, just to show you what's happening here. Okay, let me get out of this for a second. Look at this. Okay, top deals. So investors scoop up land in Metaverse. We'll look at top deals so far. This year has seen increasingly incredible virtual real estate deals in the Metaverse, ranging from just over $700,000 to a whopping $4.3 million. Virtual plots of land are effectively non-fungible tokens. When a plot of land is sold in the Metaverse, the owner is the only one with rights to that virtual land. So imagine people are buying land in the Metaverse, and the land is designed either like an NFT or as an NFT. Means it's digital, it's non-fungible, so it can't be replicated. Think about what the word non-fungible means. Non-fungible means it's a one of a kind, and it can't be duplicated. Okay. Token means it's just tokenized. It's in an electronic, digitized form. So people are buying and selling land, and virtual plots of land. Check this out. Effectively, act as non-fungible tokens or NFTs. When a plot of land is sold in the Metaverse, the owner is the only one with the rights to that virtual land. These virtual plots can be purchased using the native currency of that particular Metaverse. And there's more than one Metaverse. To buy a plot of virtual land on Decentraland Metaverse, for example, the buyer can use that decentralized Metaverse. You could use that Metaverse's native currency called mana. I mean, to me, there's like an unlimited amount of digital land. It's not like Earth where there's a finite amount of livable, usable land. In the Metaverse, it's probably unlimited. But then again, it doesn't mean that everybody's going to be able to go or want to go to every piece of land. So if you have like name recognition in the Metaverse and people come to you and get used to you, then it's worth something, kind of like Amazon. There is an unlimited number of websites. There's potential to be an unlimited number of websites. There is no limit to how many websites that can exist. It could be billions, it could be trillions. But who wants to just go to any other website? So eventually websites emerged like Google's website, Amazon's website, and Facebook's website, where people convalesce, and those become the desirable websites because that's where everybody is. That's where the population centers are. All right. I hope that really helps explain it. Goldman Sachs says buy these stocks to play Web 3.0 and Metaverse. And in that, they talk about Roblox, Snap, Facebook. And here is Mark Zuckerberg. And Mark Zuckerberg is fencing. He's actually fencing with a gold medalist fencer, live streamed, um, and it's pretty cool. Sounds like a lot of fun. Like I could, instead of just watching a virtual class on a computer, I could actually be sitting in a seat and getting a great view, not just watching someone Zoom on a screen and see some grainy picture with crappy sound. By the way, if you use Zoom and you're still using the built-in mic um, in your computer and the built-in audio in your computer for Zoom calls and for especially if you're a teacher, then you are a jerk. You are hurting everybody. You're hurting the experience because you're using a crappy webcam, crappy audio, and you're ruining the virtual experience for everybody. You've got to stop doing that. You have to spend $50 on the camcorder and at least use earbuds, which we all have, and everybody will be the better for it, including you. Okay, so don't cheap out. All right, I really mean that. I can't stand when teachers still use their built-in camcorders with the built-in audio for a whole year. The kids have to suffer through your crappy low quality video and audio. It's not fair, and it gets under my skin a little bit. Okay, so let me go back to the metaverse, and there's a lot you could find about it. I'm on the Motley Fool website right now. I don't know if you could see that. Here, let me put myself down here. I'm down here in the lower right corner from the Motley Fool. They are talking about the META ETF. So let's get into that. There's an exchange traded fund. It's an ETF, exchange traded fund. You know, exchange traded funds. There's an exchange traded fund for like everything. The S&P 500 exchange traded funds. By the way, you cannot invest directly into an index, but you could invest in a security that tracks. Remember, it's an index. There's an S&P 500 funds that cover the tech sector, that follow the industrial sector, that follow the drug sector, the financial sector. There are ETFs that follow individual countries, like the Philippines ETF, the Chinese ETF, etc. But there's one out for the metaverse from a company, and this is where we're getting into the meat of the live today. Okay, this is the website of Roundhill Investments. Roundhill Investments seems to me like they're a financial firm that provides or sponsors exchange traded funds. It's an ETF provider. And what they seem to be doing is they're jumping on the latest trend, the latest buzzwords in the financial markets, and just really quickly putting together an exchange traded fund exchange traded funds with really timely labels like one for esports, an ETF for sports betting, for streaming, pro sports ETF, metaverse ETF, digital infrastructure ETF. There's even one for deep value and meme stocks. I mean, I wish I knew about the meme stock one, because when meme stocks were really all the rage, this would have been a really timely topic to talk about. But the meme stock thing is kind of petered out. No offense to anybody named Peter. And, that's okay. So I think the metaverse is going to be way bigger than the little meme stock thing anyway. So let's talk about the metaverse. Okay. And the symbol is META, META, which is just a great name, a great ticker symbol for the META ETF, the Metaverse ETF. But it's got an expense ratio of 0.75%. It's got 44 positions in the ETF. And you could look at the marketing material on the Roundhill Investments website. I've actually never heard of Roundhill until I looked up this afternoon, Metaverse ETF. That's by the way, that's how I come up with these topics. It's just I see a topic, something comes up, and I'm like, let me take a look at that. That's interesting. I'll talk about that, because I was going to spend the whole day talking about Omicron and the stock market. It's like there's enough for that. You could find that stuff everywhere. We don't need to rehash what everybody else is talking about. All right. But I prefer to go to ETF.com. I think it's a much cleaner site. And I don't want to go on Roundhill just for their marketing material. Okay. But It's the ETF is $15. It came out, by the way, June 30th, so it's not even 6 months old, and it's my thing is this: is it worth owning? Is the metaverse worth investing in? The answer is a matter of personal finance. Is it worth investing? Is it going to be big, or is it weird and silly and going to disappear? I'm going to say the metaverse is pretty huge. It's going to be huge. And if you're knocking the metaverse, this is just my opinion. Uh, it's kind of like those people who knocked the internet in the beginning, that the internet wouldn't amount to anything. I'm not talking about the stocks, because 2000 was the nuclear winter for internet stocks, but I'm talking about the actual internet itself. Not only did the internet obviously become huge, but it became more huge with more use cases than anyone ever could have imagined in 1999, year 2000. I think the metaverse, it's called Web 3.0. We're on Web 2.0. This is Web 3.0. This is like the next thing in the internet. And there will probably come a time when sitting in front of a computer screen, surfing the internet, reading articles is going to become, you know, so undesirable and so unpleasant and boring that you're going to really want to surf the internet, read articles, do research, watch your YouTube videos, whatever you do. You're going to want to do it with a pair of goggles, because it's going to be so much more of a pleasure. Like instead of like hearing a book on audio, maybe you'll actually watch actors read books, and you could actually watch them reading the books. I mean, some people are like, well, why do I want to see it? I just want to hear it. Or that's why it's called books on audio. But some people might want to actually see it. If you think about the millions and millions of people, even if a small percentage of them want to see it, it's probably worth pursuing. Okay. Um, let's see if I could my my fourth screen, my computer screen is not working great, but I'll tell you what's in it. It's just okay. We're back in business. Software is 31%. It's a 0.75% ratio. Hold on to that. Semiconductors, internet services, IT, phone and handhelds, department stores, toys and juvenile. But it's basically, to me, a tech fund. And if you look at the top holdings, which are almost 60% of the fund, okay, well, we just want to highlight the, oh, come on. I highlighted it. Yeah, I did it. Okay, so 60% of the fund is NVIDIA, Roblox, Microsoft, Meta Platforms. Do you know who Meta Platforms is? That's Facebook. Facebook changed its name to Meta Platforms. The symbol is still the same. The ticker is still FB. Unity Software, Apple, Amazon, Autodesk, Qualcomm, and Tencent. Tencent, whatever. If you take that out, okay, so you're talking 55% of the fund. Okay. But it looks like a tech fund to me. So if we go into the XLK, which is only a 0.12% expense ratio and has well over a decade of trading and 75 holdings. Okay, let's take a look at what this fund consists of. Don't get a headache while I scroll to the bottom of the page as quickly as I can, okay? But if you look at what's in this one, the top 10 holdings, this is not an S&P 500 fund. This is a tech fund. Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Visa, MasterCard, Adobe, Broadcom. So I'm emphasizing Adobe because even though Visa and MasterCard are technology, it's transactions, it's DeFi or payments. Okay, but Broadcom, Cisco, Accenture, Salesforce, top 10 weightings are 68%. But I don't think you're getting anything that different with the ETF from Roundhill. You're getting a lot of the same stocks, and everything that I've read, including recommendations from Goldman Sachs, is that, and so much that I've read, Amazon is getting into the metaverse because they want to make sure you're going to Amazon, not someone else's store in the Web 3.0. Apple makes the handhelds, and from what I understand, Apple could even be bigger in metaverse than Facebook, which just changed its name to Meta. Facebook changed its name to Meta to reflect its pivot into the metaverse being its primary focus. Microsoft, Nvidia, Adobe, you can't have an internet, you can't have 3D, you can't have anything without Adobe. You can't have commerce without Adobe. You've got Broadcom, which is a major chip maker. So you've got the semis, you've got the software, and then you take a look at the ETF. I'm going to try to pull this down really fast. Okay. Okay, and this is the S&P 500 now. And the expense ratio in this, maybe I scroll down a little too quick. I'm sorry. Oh no. With 500 stocks obviously, but the expense ratio is 0.09. The tech fund we just looked at, the XLR, that's the one from State Street. It's the Spiders Tech ETF. That's only 0.12% expense ratio. But if you take a look at what's in this fund as well, okay, technology is almost 38% of the fund, and communications is 1% of the fund, which is like technology. But look, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, Alphabet, Nvidia. By the way, Alphabet is Google, Meta, which is Facebook, Berkshire, JP Morgan. Maybe JP Morgan could have a place in the metaverse as a bank, and maybe you'll do your banking and you walk into a branch and interact with a bank teller or a bank executive or a service person there in the metaverse. You walk in, hey, it's Dan, who I know at my local Chase branch, who's a great guy, and we'll say hello, but we'll just do it in the metaverse. I'll look like me, he'll look like him, and before you know it, it's immersive, and we're having a conversation, right? But Dan, who I go to at Chase, he always wears like these crazy socks, like funny socks. Like I don't know if I'll be able to see his funny, crazy socks on the metaverse. So see, that's what these are like the little things that you miss out in the virtual world that you enjoy seeing, and that makes the real world unique, right? Okay, so that's let me get rid of this. So that's the question. Is it worthwhile? So that's the question. Is it worthwhile having or let me rephrase this. So that's the question. Is it worthwhile investing in an ETF that focuses on the metaverse when there are so many other alternatives with a lower expense ratio that are also investing in basically the same stocks? In my view, the Meta ETF looks more like a tech fund with a different name and different packaging that could be sold to you as a way to hype you on the hot topic of the day with a higher expense ratio. That's what it looks like. So I don't see any main thing that draws me to it. So it has roadblocks, but I'm also someone who likes to buy individual stocks as opposed to ETFs. So maybe I'll just pick the individual stocks. But for the most part, if you have the FANG stocks, Facebook, Amazon, Alphabet, Apple, Netflix, Nvidia, then you are already exposed to the metaverse. If you have money in an S&P 500 index fund, then you are already exposed to the metaverse, because the metaverse basically is technology. You're probably exposed to it, which eliminates the need to own a fund specifically called Meta, the Metaverse Fund. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. We went over a little bit. Sorry about that. We went over a lot of it. Let me see who's out there before we get going. Keith, ironic because this has been on my radar. Well, I'm glad I could be here to talk about it. I hope you're still watching the show this late. And Nick is great stuff and insight, Mitchell. Thank you very much, Nick. You were always so supportive. And same from you, by the way, which is, by the way, why Nick was a guest on my live stream not too long ago. And I look forward to having Keith on the live stream. This could very well replace Zoom. Oh, absolutely. But you know what? I'm sure Zoom will also somehow find a way to get involved in the metaverse as well. Excellent point. Thank you. I don't remember exactly what point I was making at that moment, but I appreciate you. And hopefully I made a lot of excellent points, right? As you always do. And by the way, Keith, I hope you are feeling okay, buddy. All right. I'm going to get going. I'll talk to you probably Thursday. All right. All right. Talk soon. Bye.